Hey, what's going on, folks? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. Um, I wanted to touch up on the Guillermo Rigondeaux situation, and there's been a lot of uproar as of late about his career, given the fact that he's been stripped of his WBO junior bantamweight title. What there was 100? Oh, excuse me, not junior bantamweight. The junior featherweight, which is AKA super bantamweight title, which is 122 pounds. Um, that they cited the WBO cited that the reason why they're stripping him is due to the fact that he's been inactive. It's been almost 10 months since he's defended the title, I should say. Uh, yeah, he hasn't what you call it, he hasn't defended it against his mandatory challenger Cesar Juarez, whatnot. But that's one of the reasons why they're stripping him. And let me touch up on that a little bit as well. Guillermo Rigondeaux. Yeah, there's many reasons why he's been inactive. Not just the fact that he didn't defend his title against his mandatory Cesar Juarez. It's also given the fact that his deal with Al Heyman collapsed, and I don't know the details behind that. But it seems like ever since that deal fell through, it seems like his whole world's coming apart. It seems like no one wants nothing to do with him, given the fact that Bob Arum, I think he's the one who blacklisted him after the Nino Donaire fight, where a lot of people were putting so much money into Donaire and marking him as a new Manny Pacquiao, and what Rigondeaux went in there and did to him. It just goes to show that he's kind of like the next Sonny Liston in a way. No disrespect to Sonny Liston and his family, but it seems like he was supposed to go in there and he was supposed to make Donaire look good. Just my opinion. But apparently he did the opposite and totally dismantled him. But it just seems, excuse me, it just seems like it stems from that fight and then onto the Joseph Abeku fight where the HBO commentators were slamming Rigondeaux for his performance against Abeku, claiming that he's so boring, his style is not exciting, blah, 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 whatnot. And pretty much after that fight, HBO pretty much cut his contract. He was forced to take a fight overseas. One of those fights wasn't even televised. I think it was in China, I believe. And then after that, he took his fight, which was his last fight back in last December of 2014. It was against Arcase Amagasa, who had dropped him twice in the fight. But Rigondeaux came back and rallied and, really gashed him up. I mean, Jesus Christ, made his face look so grotesque and, stopped him in the 10th round. But anyhow, the thing is this, I'm looking at the rankings here. I mean, despite the fact that he couldn't get a big fight against the names of Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton, which I'll get into in a minute, there was other guys he could have fought. And, let me bring this up here. He could have fought guys like Kiko Martinez, right? And also his mandatory Cesar Juarez, as I already mentioned. Let me see here. I'm just bringing up the rankings here for a second. Okay. He could also have taken a fight with Julio Ceja, Albert Paraga, who's undefeated, 25-0. Rio Matsumoto, who's also 16-0 undefeated. Joseph Diaz, who's also 18-0. All these guys in the top 10. He could have taken the fights with those guys. So, I mean, and it also is, by the way, it's mandatory who Cesar Juarez is ranked 18th, but yet he's a mandatory challenger to the WBO title. So I honestly believe it goes both ways. I think that, yes, it is kind of unfortunate that the WBO is stripping Rigondeaux due to his inactivity. But I think that if he wanted to remain a little bit more relevant, he should have taken some other fights elsewhere while these other guys like Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton is not willing to fight him. And particularly Leo Santa Cruz, who's the punk who moved up to 126. And then I think he has expressed some interest to come back down to 122, but we haven't heard of that as of late. But again, it is unfortunate, but I'm not trying to defend the WBO and their actions here, but you have to look at it from a business standpoint. You're a boxing organization like the WBO, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBC. For you to remain in operations, you have to make money. And how do you make money? You make money by your fighters paying sanctioning fees. That's how the organization survives. So, given the fact that Rigondeaux hasn't defended that title for over 10 months, it appears to me that the WBO was like, look, if you're not going to defend the title, we're going to strip you, and then we'll make a mandatory bout for our between Cesar Juarez and Nonito Donaire, who's also ranked in here. So, expect a fight to be made between those two coming up. So we'll see. Other than that, it is sad to see what's happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux, and given the fact that, again, the Al Heyman deal have fell through. Bob Arum had blacklisted him. So it just seems to me that his shot at America is pretty much completely gone. It's completely gone. And, you can never say never. He may be able to find a promoter in America who will help him get the fights that he wants in America. But honestly, if he really wants to remain active and stay busy and continue his career, maybe he should relocate and stay in Europe. I think he can find a promoter there. Maybe like Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn. I don't know. That's a bit of a long shot, given the fact that both fighters have managed Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton. So who knows? But I think he does need to relocate over there, and hopefully that will turn his career around. But anyhow, there has been an update, and some of you may not have caught on to this. It has been announced that he is scheduled to fight in December 4th. The opponent has not been named yet, so we don't know. However, he will be defending his WBA Super Bantamweight Championship in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and James Toney is scheduled to fight there as well. So, let me know what you think. Do you think, where does Guillermo Rigondeaux goes from here? Do you think he still have a career left in him, or do you think he has other options, like I mentioned? If he does go to Europe, do you think he'll do well there, or what do you think? Or he should try it in America again, get another shot at it. So, other than that, signing off. Peace.